All right, so in this video, I am going to break down 3 freight forwarders. These are companies that help you get your inventory from wherever your factory is into the world, into the fulfillment center for Amazon. And I'm going to talk about the different strengths and weaknesses of these freight forwarders that I have personally used. And just in general, talk about how to get stuff from your factory to Amazon and to their warehouses, right? So basically, if you are manufacturing overseas anywhere, you're going to need to get your merchandise from the factory to Amazon's fulfillment centers. And typically, if you're manufacturing overseas, that's usually going to be China. But even if it's some other country, you're going to want to use the services of an expert to get your products from your factory to inside of Amazon. And there are lots of different companies that are willing to help you do this. And today I'm going to talk about 3 that I have personally used. We will also publish a list on our blog of the top 10 freight forwarders and rank those as well. But today I'm just going to jump into top 3, and I definitely have one that is my favorite. And just to kind of spoil the cliffhanger, Freightos is definitely my favorite freight forwarder at the moment, but I want to talk about some other ones and really tell you why Freightos is so good. And so let me go in and explain those. So first of all, let me give you the breakdown of the 3 freight forwarders. So one of them is going to be Shapiro. Shapiro has been around for a long time. They were actually one of the original freight forwarders. If you wanted to sell on Amazon and bring stuff in from overseas, you had to use Shapiro or maybe a couple other ones that were kind of vetted by Amazon. That is not the case anymore, but they have just been around for a long time. They are a great company to work with. I have personally met several people that work at Shapiro, and I do like them. It's been years since I've worked with them, but I'm giving them an honorable mention. We have used them a lot in the past, and if you want kind of that hands-on white glove service, they are definitely for you. The second one is going to be Flexport. So Flexport is basically a full-service freight forwarding company as well, but they are very technical. So they have a big software stack that allows you to kind of do everything via your laptop or whatever online, right? Which is pretty cool. I like that a lot. We've used them several times as well. And then my favorite would be Freightos. And I actually have a Flexport quote and a Freightos quote kind of pulled up, and it's very striking, the difference in price, and this is why I have chosen to go with Freightos. So with Flexport, our quote from them was $2,306 to get a shipment in from, I think it was the Guangzhou port to fulfillment center in FBA, and that same shipment we got done, let me just see here, shipment charges here was $829, and we did get an invoice from the actual freight carrier for another $150, but it was still under $1,000. So a huge difference in price between these 2 companies. And the reason why is because Freightos is actually not a freight forwarder. They are a marketplace. And so when you do a search for a shipment, they match you up with all of these different shipping providers and give you the different guys right here, and then you can choose the one that's the best price. And because of this competition, it's creating a competitive marketplace. Now here's the thing, sometimes you're going to see people that show up on Freightos that are very low reviews or something like that. And then sometimes you're going to have, a really good player. So you have to look at that and make sure you're dealing with somebody that's good. But for the most part, the transparency and the marketplace in their system has been really good. And it's just a nice system to use. You can literally come in here and, I just did a search for a 20-foot container from Guangzhou to LAX port. So from port to port. And I can just see these different prices right here and understand what it costs to get a 20-foot container from port to port. Super easy. and I can change this in their UI and be like, well, what's a 40-foot container cost? They have an FBA thing right here, so I can get it. I can even choose the fulfillment center that I'm going to for FBA. But yeah, I can see that, here's what my 20-foot container costs. Funny thing enough, the 40-foot container, the 20-foot container was like $1,700, and the 40-foot container is only a couple $1,000s more. So one thing that you'll notice when you start shipping is that buying a full container and shipping stuff in a full container really, that's twice as much cargo space. And so if you have enough merchandise to ship on a full container, then you can really save on shipping. So a couple of things about shipping and logistics that I want to get into, and really, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this in this video, but basically for shipping and logistics, most everything is calculated using the weight and then the volume of the shipment, so CBM. So if you're selling something that's like incredibly heavy, then sometimes they'll bill you on weight, but usually it's how much are you going to fill in the container, how much space are you going to take up in a container. So your 20-foot container holds 27.9 cubic meters of space. That's 986 cubic feet. And it can usually hold, 53,000 plus pounds of cargo. And then your 40-foot container is 56.1 cubic meters or 2,000 cubic feet. And it can hold 62,940 pounds of, or 28,000 kilograms of cargo, basically. And so most of the time, if you're shipping stuff that's in packaging and it's not super, super heavy, you're going to be billed on the CBM, the volume of space you take up, either in boxes, in a container, or whatever, what have you, right? And so whenever you're getting quotes from a supplier, it makes sense to get the packaging dimensions in there. And so you can come into your tool like Freightos and you can just edit this and change it to, if you're not doing a full container, you can change it to pallets and boxes. And then I actually usually get better quotes just by doing pallets. And then you just punch in the dimensions. And I just use metric, because if you're working with factories in China, just use the metric system. And so you can be like, yeah, this is 50 centimeters by 105 centimeters by 40 centimeters. And, each box weighs 2 kilograms or something like that, right? And it's going to figure out, and then you can literally come in here. It's going to tell you how many cubic feet you're using and everything else. And then you can come in here and literally, be like, well, I got 100 boxes. And then this is telling you might need a container load. So let's do like 40 boxes. Oops. Hold on. And so now it's giving me the size of my shipment right here. It's still giving it to me in, still telling me that I might be over. Let me do this. Let's see here. All right, Freightos, one thing you got to do is fix this UI to where I can get rid of the 1. Okay, cool. Oh, it's got me in inches. I want to be in centimeters. There we go. Perfect. So I put in 20 units, 50 centimeters, 105 centimeters, 40 centimeters, and this is 4.2 cubic meters of space that I'm taking up. So once again, 4.2 cubic meters on my thing here. My 20-foot container is 27.9 cubic meters. So this is not a huge percentage of a 20-foot container is what I would be taking up here, right? So that's pretty cool. Let me go back in here and show you guys that. So that's pretty cool. And then literally you just come in here and you choose either if you're picking up from the factory or if they're picking up from the port, and then where they're delivering it to. Like if they're delivering it to an Amazon fulfillment center, you can choose that and they'll let you choose a fulfillment center. And you just do all that kind of stuff, and then they're going to give you your quote on how much it costs to ship that item. It doesn't always include, your quote does not always include your all of your tariffs or any of your extra fees or customs clearance or stuff like that. Sometimes that stuff gets added on, but Freightos has some pretty cool resources here where they have they have some calculators here. So they have a import duty calculator and all kinds of different calculators that you can use on their website to adjust to get your stuff calculated there. So I highly recommend these guys. I hope that to bring them on the channel one day and do a session with them where we can kind of pick their brains with everything they're doing. I think that they do a really cool job. They even have this really neat index here where you can literally see the pricing trends for containers. So this is they call this the global container index, right? And so this is China, East Asia to North American West Coast, and it's trending at $1,638. I don't know if this is like a 20-foot container or what this price actually represents, but it just shows you that the price of freight, right? So we're, a few days ago in February, we were at $1,300 trending, and now we're going up to, we were at $1,700 a few weeks ago, and now we're kind of trending back down a little bit. So pretty cool stuff here. I really like working with them. The last thing that I would show you is our calculator that we have in MassView and our Chrome extension. So if you are a user of MassView and you're using our Chrome extension, you should definitely check this out. So basically, if you are browsing on Amazon, you'll see the calculate fees button here, and you'll also see it on any product page. And you just click on this, and we're going to go ahead and pull in the dimensions and everything and calculate the weight and all this stuff for any product that you're looking at. And we will go ahead and let you kind of put in it defaults to $200 per cubic meter for your freight costs, but you can change that if you want to do like pound, foot, whatever you want. And then we also have like your manufacturing costs and all that stuff in here. And so the really cool thing is you can kind of calculate pretty easily what your net revenue on a product was if you were selling a similar product. So if you were selling something similar to the light bulbs that I'm calculating fees on here, you can see that if your cost was this much, and these are all inputs that you can change, if your price was this much, if your dimensions were this much, this is how much you'd be paying. You'd be paying on an $8.95 product, you'd have 8 cents in freight cost. Your storage fees would be 1 to 3 cents. Your FBA fees would be $3.31. Your referral fee, so this is your commission you pay to Amazon, it's $1.34. So you're going to net out $2.42 in these months, or $2.40 in the fourth quarter, where storage fees are a little bit higher. And then we also go ahead and actually use our sales estimator to estimate how much revenue you're going to make. So this product is a very popular product. So you'd be making $341,000 a month in profit if you were selling the same volume as these. And your margin is 27% and your ROI is 135%. So all these variables are obviously yours to put in. You'd have to put those in based on your different inputs, right? Your dimensions, your freight costs, and all those things. But once you put all those things in, then the calculator is going to go ahead and calculate all that for you, and then you can change it. So if you end up saying, well, you know what, my freight cost is actually $300, then that's going to raise your unit cost that way. So anyway, that's it. I highly recommend checking out Freightos and working with them for logistics, and then go ahead and use the calculator and understand what your kind of cost per cubic meter is to get your inventory into FBA, and then you can use that to really dial in your cost. And if you have a better freight forwarding solution that you think is better than Freightos, let me know in the comments. I would be happy to check them out and see if they're better. If you are a freight forwarding company and you think that you're better, then let me know. If Flexport, if you guys see this and you want to show me how you guys stack up to Freightos better, I'm down to talk to you guys. Same with Shapiro or anybody else. I'm always looking for an edge. I'm not an expert in logistics, but we have shipped a lot of stuff, and And you can make or break yourself on your margins by your freight company. So make sure that you guys pick your favorite, the best freight company that's going to give you the best prices and everything. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, we're going to be pumping out a bunch of really cool content coming up. So look forward to seeing you on the inside. Thanks, everybody.